what we find is that, what we find is that when you do say, hey sis, he says something, it's almost like an awakening or something goes off. And that's what I'm hoping happens in our community, is that we stop going out of our way to not speak to one another. It's like, we're so close to one another. We're passing one another on the street. Just say hello. You don't have to know me. You know what I mean? Just throw up a peace sign, peace sis, hey, how you doing? Hello. Acknowledging one another, right? That's all you have to do. But we find that oftentimes when we do that to someone who you can tell they're in the habit of like breaking their neck to look away or that kind of thing, when they see people who look like themselves, which that's a whole problem in itself.
Yes.
We find that when we pretend like we don't see that and we speak up anyway, hey, how you doing? That kind of thing. It's almost like a light bulb goes off. Like, wait a minute, that's how we're supposed to deal with one another. They don't know me. Yeah, we don't know you, but you look like us.
Oh, I love you.
Right. I just think we just have to do more of that. I think we just have to, we have to acknowledge what is going on in our community, especially among Black women. Because we want to say that Black women can definitely work together. Faith and I work with other artists, we work with other Black creatives. So we know that is true, right? But we cannot pretend as if there are a lot of instances where Black women are not behaving with one another the way that they should.
Correct.
So yeah, just more acknowledging one another is helpful.
Acknowledging the godly being in the light that you see. Like, girl, your earrings look good today. Yes, please showcase more of it. It's so small that you can change somebody's whole perspective on life if you just have the ability to love. But that starts with loving yourself first, which goes back to what you were saying about understanding who we are, that the higher vibrational beings that we were designed to be. Why do we think like this? Why do we, girl? Why do you hate yourself so much? Like,
right. So just, I think maybe letting go of some of those media images, stereotypical images, letting that go, because essentially we become like characters. When we copy that behavior, we become like characters. We're not really being true to ourselves, and we're not being, unless we come as who we actually are, we're not really beneficial to our community.
Yeah.
So just kind of trying to be mindful of that. When you show up as you are, right? Even if that changes tomorrow, because we're always growing. We're always growing, So maybe who you are today is not who you are tomorrow, but the idea is that you show up in as authentically as you can, rather than, some character that you see out there.
And we know social media doesn't always help people.
It doesn't,
because it's really easy to, turn into a totally different person from yourself. Maybe maybe that different person that, you're trying to be, maybe it feels better than who you really are. But that's, again, we just have to work on ourselves, So being willing to,
like you said, that is ever changing, and extend grace and love towards yourself. So as you grow, so then you can do the same for others. It's quite simple. It's
exactly.
Your dad was on it. Simplicity. Your dad was on it. Tell Dad thanks. Thanks, Dad. Now, what would you tell someone who is hurting, or not even hurting, let's acknowledge good, bad, whatever labels, but what would you tell someone who is hurting and they want to kickstart their healing journey? How would they start that?
And Faith tells me all the time, sometimes I oversimplify things, but that goes back to the choosing it. And when I say choose it, that means as often as you need to remind yourself, whether it's day to day, right? Whether it's minute to minute, the reminder when you have that thought in your mind that makes you feel like a victim, or makes you feel like someone in perpetual despair, you are making a choice to counter that thought, right? With a positive thought, a thought that maybe comes from a place of gratitude. And that instantly kind of helps to keep you on the path to healing. right? Because you can choose that path, but I think people think it's like a light switch. Like, I'm not going to entertain this anymore, these negative thoughts. I'm just going to, entertain these positive thoughts. But that's a study and a practice. Like, and it's not something that you don't wake up every day and choose it. It's literally like something that you have to choose second to second. It requires an awareness, right? Of what is happening in your head, and being willing to do the work to, to counter that.
So
and
when you
also,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say also, just our mother would always say growing up, she still says it to this day, that there's a season for everything.
Yeah.
So you also have to understand that, what you're feeling in the moment, it will pass.
Yes.
It might not pass tomorrow or
next week
or when you want it to, but it's gonna pass and better days will come.
That's right.
And I know it's easier said than done.
Right.
But it's true, when you think about things, like when you think about your life, and where you were at certain stages in your life, and think about where you are now. Like the season will change, things will get better. You just have to trust in yourself, and trust in the Most High, if there's a creator that you pray to, and just know that, that's, it's just part of life. So don't get too down and out about it, because that's the last thing you want to do, is just fall into, like we spoke earlier, this like kind of pit of depression. And then Hope just explained how, her tips and how she, tries to move up out of that by just choosing to think differently. So,
yeah. And so I think an example of that I shared with one of our guests in the studio the other day was, I said, I went to put money in the bank. So I went to put money in the bank, deposit money, looked at the account, had already done my bills, and was like, what? When I saw what was left. And I'm mad now, right? I walked in the bank happy. I walked out I'm out the bank. Now I got a whole disposition. I'm yanking the mask off. And then I was like, what you mad for? You mad because you can pay your bills? You mad because you can pay your bills and have a little something left over? That's why you mad? And I really had to, and so that's what I mean when I say it's an awareness. Now I could have gone off and had a bad day for the rest of the day, right? You know what I mean? But instead, I was like, nah, like gratitude. There's people out here like living in boxes and under bridges. Like, what are you mad for? So just taking the time to assess that, and that's one of the things that we were laughing about with one of our guests recently. It's that simple. At the end of the day, it's whether you want to choose to look at the good, right, or whether you want to choose to have a negative lens.
Like the plumbing out this today.
Yeah, like the plumbing.
Our plumbing was out, so we just instantly fall into like this temporary.
Now we
depression.
mad. Now we mad.
I can't take a shower. Hope you got a birdie. I told Hope, I was like, don't use that shower. She was like, birdie?
Until the plumber come, right?
I was like, we used to do birdies. We was little, like, don't act too, above, but really, we could have chose to be so like disgusted, the toilet's not flushing, which we were disgusted.
And have a bad day.
When it was time to eat dinner, I was like, Hope, this is one day, the plumbers will be here. At least we got food on the table.
Yeah.
At least we got this nice, cozy home.
It goes back to gratitude.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It is the only way to challenge a negative thought. There are forces that want you to exist in negativity.
That part.
It's as simple as that. Whether you can see them, whether you can't see them, what we know for sure is that there are forces that want you to exist in negativity. Maybe it works in their benefit that you exist in that space. And so you have to be intentional and adamant about maintaining your positive mind state, and gratitude just helps you to do that. Yeah.
So, oh my gosh, let me just snap. That's all I got, because I stand with every aspect of that. But you chose, Hope, you said victim. You used that word victim, and something was like, oh my God. When you say victim, so giving an example of how to combat that thought with gratitude, let's just say victimization looks like, oh, well, nobody likes me. Everybody hates me because I'm a burden or something, whatever that mental in your childhood. How would you combat gratitude with that?
I think the way that I see gratitude from a personal space, or the way I see the victim piece that you're talking about from a personal space in my personal life, I think that there are decisions that I may have made, right?
Okay.
And when I get angry at those decisions, I find that it's because I'm from a headspace of being a victim, you know? And then I find that when I practice gratitude, and gratitude for me looks like, oh, I may have done that then, but man, I'm so grateful that I know better now. You know what I mean? It's just, that's the shift. You know what I mean? That's the shift. As it relates to your example of having negative self-thoughts of like maybe being a burden on individuals, I think
that's just enemies.
I think that requires a self-assessment where you realize that I'm not burdensome. If anything, I'm actually helpful, right? I think that it's not necessarily gratitude with that. It's just really looking at the opposite, like really just, I don't know, coming to a space where you can assess what's happening in your life and you just choose not to entertain a negative lens. You know what I mean? So that, I think the example you gave is a little different. Gratitude wholly works. So personally for me, I find that gratitude is beneficial, but for what you're talking about just now, it's just more like taking a step back and challenging yourself. If you have a negative lens, like what you just shared just now, that you just counter it with a positive lens, even if gratitude doesn't necessarily fit that.
I got you.
But when you talk about victim, I do intentionally use that word. I use it a lot.
Yeah.
Because I find that anytime I think like a victim, oh, that person got over on me. They owe me money. They owe me this, that. They try to play me. They try to play my intelligence. Because our ego come in. I think anytime, I find that every time I entertain that victim mentality is when I find myself angry and sad.
Yeah.
So it really requires me to look at the situation, take personal responsibility if there's any personal responsibility involved, right? And if there's no personal responsibility involved, that's fine. But again, just being mindful that whatever I've done in my past, that's not my path now. You know, and if that's the only thing I can exercise gratitude in at that time, then so be it.
That's okay. Simple, simplicity.
Yeah.
Hashtag simplicity. I love it.
Hashtag simplicity. It's not that complex. That's right.
It really isn't. So one last question. I want to thank y'all so much. This has been very enlightening for me. I'm going to speak for me. Your wisdom is so profound. Faith, for you, I'm going to step into Faith, for you, how is your paintings and your art a reflection of who Faith is, but also like your culture, your background?
Let's see. I feel like there's so many ways to answer this. I would say I try to go about my life, every day of just practicing or trying to keep my spirits high and elevated. And I feel like, that's my mission with my paintings, with my art, is that I'm trying to intentionally uplift and inspire, because I think it's important to be uplifted, and inspiration is everything. And when you feel inspired, I think we all know that when you feel inspired, you feel like you can almost like do anything, from that point. So that's how I would answer.
I think, So remix of what I heard her say is that in her own life, she tries to keep her own spirits lifted, right? And then her art, that's the idea of it, is like imagery has the power, right?
It does.
Inspire, right? And so I think that that's what it is that she essentially is doing, is trying to radiate that same joy that she wants for herself, that same high vibration that she wants in her personal life for everyone who experiences her art. So I think that's pretty cool.
And like when I'm teaching too, like it's the same idea, like my students, like I want to feel that same energy So I think it's working. My students, they like coming to class.
They do.
Painting and all the good vibes and laughter and stuff. So,
and I hope that becomes like their zen. I hope that becomes something that they take with them when they get older, right? That painting is their therapy. It's their, it's their thing.
Yes.
And I think the earlier we acquire a creative outlet, because we all have it, we're all creative people, but the earlier we acquire it and realize that it can be an outlet for us, I think that works to our benefit. So I'm grateful that that your students get that early.
I love them so much.
And Faith, I must say, as someone who has purchased your art, it does inspire and it's felt, because anybody that comes into my husband and I's apartment, because it's right there in the middle of our living room,
I saw it.
People literally sit back and they go, wow. And I just give them 5 to 10 minutes. You know what? Do your thing. I get it. I know exactly what you're going through right now. Just soak it in. And so keep going. Like truly joy is felt, and it's genuine. I kind of go back to that word, genuine and authentic, and that is a breath of fresh air. Now, in regards to the jewelry, Hope you can answer, or Faith, it doesn't matter. I've noticed like you guys use a lot of vibrant colors, use a lot of vibrant patterns. You do something that's kind of off the wall of what you see basic jewelry is. Like your jewelry is not basic. So why is that so important and intricate for you guys?
I think a part of our mission is to create little reminders of happiness, little reminders of joy, little reminders that everything is going to be all right. We make a particular style, it's our tassel styles or feather styles, and we call them flow. Right? And it's a reminder, right, that everything is going to be fine. And so it's interesting because we have a lot of guests who have expressed to us while they're here in our studio that they can appreciate the messaging behind a lot of, or the intention. For us, it's the intention. For them, it's the messaging when they receive it. But they say, we are appreciative of this messaging because you don't know that I needed to hear it. Right. We offer power necklaces, right? It's a reminder that always, right, your power is always yours. It doesn't matter whether you think you gave it away, you have the opportunity, that's yours. Nobody can take that from you. And so our power necklaces are like a little reminder.
We try to explain it, make sure we explain it like that. Because when people hear power necklaces, they think like, oh, they gravitate to it. This is gonna give me.
Like superpower.
No. You got the power.
This is just a reminder.
This is just a reminder. And that's what it is. Everything that we create are little reminders. I had these huge yellow earrings on. They're a part of our Bloom collection. Our mom, she crochets them. Faith throws the jewels on them. And so I had them on the other day, and the lady said, I really like those earrings. And I was like, thank you. I was like, they make me very happy. She said, yeah, me too. Good. I think we just need more of that. Happiness is in reach. Happiness is in reach. Joy is in reach. It is in reach. It is in reach. And it's not something that you have to pretend to have. You know what I mean? It is a choice. It does require a little effort, but it is in reach. It's in reach. And that's continuously our message. Yeah.
I love it. So what I got from all of this is #choose, #simple.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's it. #love. Simplicity and choose. And honestly, that was probably one of the best advice that you could give anybody, because it was genuine and it was intentional. And for the people out there watching this, I told y'all this was going to be enlightening, and please, please, please support these two beautiful women. I will make sure to include all of their information below in the description box. Faith and Hope, kisses, hugs, all of that, receive it. I want to thank y'all so much for being a huge part of this, of being open, transparent, and just showcasing your heart. There was times I wanted to tear up, and I might do that later on, but that's okay. Because it's felt, it's definitely felt, and I appreciate you, and I'm so honored to have come across the paths with you guys. So thank y'all. Is there anything else you would love to tell the good people?
I just want to say thank you. Thank you for the work that you are doing, right? And Elevated Convos. And thank you for keeping your joy front and center, for keeping mental health front and center. I know that you are making sure that the information is getting to where it needs to be in our community. So we appreciate that work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I will be visiting y'all soon once I get some more shmoney. I will be spending it all on you guys. So thank y'all once again, everybody. Thanks for joining us today at Elevated Convos. Give a big whoop whoop to Faith and Hope. Thank y'all so much, and I hope you'll have a beautiful, joy-filled day.
Thank you. You too.
Bye, y'all. See y'all.